we're sort of tentatively sitting somewhere. Welcome, everybody.
Good to see you.
Everybody sort of perched somewhere. I'm Karen Dirksen. I'm the director of Winthrop University Galleries. And I welcome you here this evening. We are starting one of two lectures that are going to happen this semester in conjunction with the exhibition that's in the Rutledge and the Patrick Galleries called Ed Lewandowski, Precisionism and Beyond. Hopefully many of you have taken part and seen the exhibition already. So this evening's speaker is Tony Rajer, and he's going to talk to us about the legacy of Ed Lewandowski. He knew him personally, has restored some of his mosaics. So he's going to speak to you about that. I have a couple of quick announcements before we get going. We have one other speaker this semester who's also going to talk about the exhibition. That's Dr. Valerie Lee. She was the curator of the exhibition. It comes to us from the Flint Institute of Arts, and it was compiled from collections and museums all over the country. So she put the exhibition together. So she's going to be here on November 18th at 8 p.m. and she'll talk to you more about sort of the ideas behind Ed, as well as why she put the work together that she did, and more about his legacy as well. So that's at 8 p.m. November 18th. We have a couple of weekends that we're also going to be open. So if you don't get here during the week, 9 to 5 when the gallery is open. November 6th and 7th, we're open from noon to 4. So that's Saturday, Sunday, and again, November 13th and 14th as well. So just in case that you want to take an opportunity to see it during the weekend, you could do so then as well. So a little bit about Anton Rajer. He's a professional art conservator. He was an educator at the University of Wisconsin in art history. He was educated at the University of Wisconsin in art history and chemistry. He attended Harvard University for art conservation training, as well as the University of London and the University of Rome in mural restoration. His photographs and paintings have been exhibited in many countries, including Italy, Brazil, Bolivia, Panama, the United States, and in India. He is the author of 5 books on heritage preservation and many articles. He is a Fulbright Scholar in the United States and Latin America as an artist ambassador. He now teaches at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And again, he is an author on art, heritage, culture, folk art, and is the American director of NECCHA. So welcome, Tony, this evening.
Oh, thank you, Karen, for that lovely introduction. I'm really touched to be here, talking to all of you about Ed Lewandowski. I also feel very honored to be invited to come to Winthrop. It means a lot to me. And I hope our journey tonight will be an interesting one. As we look and see Ed Lewandowski in a very different context than just the antiseptic works of art that you see on the walls. Okay? Couple things. One, Karen alluded to NECCHA, and NECCHA, I wrote it out for you, neckchand.org. NECCHA is a humble man who lives in North India, and he's created the largest folk art park in the world, nearly 25 acres, 3,000 sculptures made by hand out of recycled materials with no budget. So I do not want to hear any whining from anyone when you discuss the topic of budgets or money. This guy was dirt poor, a victim of the partition of India of 1947, where he lost everything, their farm, their cattle, and had to flee with his life east to the Punjab, which became modern-day India. He lives in a city called Chandigarh. And Chandigarh, Chandigarh, Chandigarh was a modern city designed by the French architect Corbusier. Now, a man by the name of John Mazels, who runs a magazine called Raw Vision, and myself run a small cultural foundation, and we help Americans and Europeans who wish to go to the rock garden and live in the rock garden for a month, 3 to 4 weeks, and make mosaic art there out of the recycled materials, working with local artists. And we have tonight the privilege of knowing from your own ranks one of these lovely people. Come on, Megan, come forward, please. Come on. Please, I want to introduce you, please. This is Megan Hackenberg. Megan graduated from Winthrop. I'm sure you all know her. And Megan was one of our arts ambassadors last year under very difficult conditions, cold winters, living there in the rock garden with the staff in modest housing, but making her mosaic art and helping to act as an ambassador at a time in our nation's history when we desperately need goodwill, if you catch my drift. So I wanted to publicly thank, and John sends his thanks also, and Mr. Neck John does also for your work. Thank you, Megan. Let's give her an applause. So if you wish to be a volunteer and go to India and make mosaics and spread some goodwill at a time when we desperately need it, you contact me or contact Karen. She's got my contact information, and we'd be happy to have you as a candidate. Now, I've been here this week looking at and helping with the graduate students, talking with them. Pam is one of them. Pam, stand up a moment. Briefly, Pam is working on encaustic art as a graduate student here at Winthrop, and I was very interested and delighted to see her serious nature in making her mosaic art, because if you're going to go into the arts, you need a sense of commitment. I don't believe in spoon feeding, and being in the arts requires a certain amount of commitment. Now, I have a question. How many students a year graduate with BAs and MFAs in the arts in the United States per year, approximately? You cannot answer that question because you already know it. Anybody?
Too many.
Too many. That is the correct answer. Statistically, anybody? About 38,000 people a year. That's stiff competition, and you've got to stand out. And a person who stood out as a towering individual was Ed Lewandowski. Now, before I get into the Lewandowski talk, I did want to show you a work of art we discovered in the collection, and this, once again, confirms my intuitive feelings that this college and university has wonderful works of art worthy of attention, worthy of conservation, and worthy of integration into curriculum for understanding the works of art. Today with Karen, we went over to Tillman and we saw that beautiful Parthenon frieze to die for. Dirty, but to die for, you know. And that reproduction, or not reproduction, that version of a Claude Lorrain, also a very lovely picture, as well as other works of art. But we found this one in the collection. I was ecstatic when I saw it. Is Danielle here? Danielle here? No, she's not here. Okay, well, I was with Danielle when I found this. And the artist, this is President Davis, who was president of Winthrop University in the 1960s. And this was painted in 1963 by an American artist named Lester Bentley, who was from this little town in Wisconsin. They have a research committee in that town today to document Lester's work. Boy, do I have good news for them, right? We found another one, another beautiful portrait, and this was done shortly before Bentley's death. He worked for, and he pioneered these very slick academic portraits. He did portraits of President Eisenhower,